Hi everyone, this is the AI Progressive Behavior Update, version 1.4. So, what's new? This time there was a fairly global optimization. NPC's spavins have been changed, and there were some small bug fixes. I've recommented them. In particular, this applies to multiplayer games. For single-player projects, you have no effect. In multiplayer projects, there were some problems when loading the second or more players. Now there are none. What are some of the new features? We now have a new type of objects. These are interactive objects. These objects are also on the stage. When an NPC walks into them and invokes a certain event, he starts to poll this object about what he needs to do with it. Let me show you how this works for an example. I've created a child class of this object. And we have these events that you can call in each object. Start and stop interaction. Then everything that comes after that is logic at your discretion. That is, you can add any components to your actor, call any animation, call any NPC interaction. In this example, I just want to show that the NPC can pick up the object. That is, when an interaction is triggered. We attach this static mesh to our NPC. At the end of the interactive, we return this object to its place. In order for us to reproduce this, we do the following. We now have a new type of notify. It can be found here. It has a fairly simple logic, to begin and to end. In this case, in your animation, you can call this notify wherever you want the NPC to interact with an object. For example, you want him in the middle of a given animation to start interacting with it, and at some frame he stops interacting with it. Now, let's see how this works. You don't need to make any other changes for this. In this case, we have an NPC Bernard who walks up to his workstation, interrogates the given object, picks it up, and puts the given object down. After that, he can perform any other actions. They are not contradictory. In the future, he can return to the given object again. If we interrupt his animation, he stops interacting with the given object. So, see how the customization itself happens. It's as simple as possible. We have the object itself that we created. This is our child class. It's this one. And we have the NPC's place of action. So in this case, it's place work Bernard. If this object is at this location, then the NPC polls. So every time at any point, it can be here, the NPC starts to poll this object. More precisely, the NPC starts the necessary animation on this belt, for example, this one, and already the animation interrogates what object is on this point. So in this case, the customization is as flexible as possible. You can control the whole process with different animations and different points. That is, you can set a different animation on each point, set a different object, and each time it could be a completely different logic. For example, here with these two events, you can trigger any other logic. For example, your object might have a skeleton mash. It can play an animation. Let's say an NPC came up to the sawmill. It started an animation. He pressed some button. It started some saw there, tools, and in this frame, you can call this animation. So you can have unlimited control over all the interactivity of the whole environment. And that's it. Thank you all.